sky islands and undersea islands and sea kings and areas where there's no wind? Huh? One Piece is insane. Generic intro in the Dr. Guzman here, back with some more One Piece reaction, or One Piece related video reaction. Today we're doing Explaining the One Piece World by Grand Line Review. A lot of people were suggesting I do this one, there was another one that I was supposed to do, and there's also videos by Tekken, but apparently that's for people that have actually seen the show, and I have not seen anything of One Piece actually. I've watched None Piece, which is up on YouTube. Oh, I gotta do the 5 to 7 special that I did, because that got apparently re-uploaded to YouTube. I have no idea. You want to check out last week's video, which was explaining the Devil Fruits, which is a super interesting video. A little bit outdated, but I'll leave it right up there. I'll also leave it down below in the description. You want to check that out. Thank you all so much for the support you've shown all these videos, and thank you so much for 40,000 subscribers. When my channel got deleted almost 2 years ago, I did not expect to have this much success right off the bat again. And just thank you to everybody that's been with me on this journey. Thank you to patrons. I'm here to make you smile, not make you pay. That's why the patrons are, there's no paywall on my channel. All my videos are free for everybody to watch, and that's the whole goal. They're always going to be like that. So thank you to them. Thank you to everybody watching these videos. Thanks to everybody who comments and explains One Piece stuff to me. I'm going to get to more videos. There's so many One Piece videos for me to react to. And, you know, they might just persuade me to react to One Piece. They might. I don't know. You all just show so much support. But let's go ahead and jump into this video. I'm really excited to learn about the geography of One Piece. Or whatever the One Piece world's called. Okay. I've never heard of the Red Line. I've heard of it, but I'm not sure.
What? And I'm
What's
not
those
about
little
to make
cracks
things
in
any
it?
better because in reality it is also one gigantic subscribe button specifically for the Grand Line Review, allowing everyone who reaches it to receive regular One Piece content uploaded straight into their YouTube feed. And you, my dear viewer, after your long journey of life, have reached it. Enjoy. Hello
so
and
this
welcome
is,
to One Piece.
Okay, this isn't just about,
everyone,
just hit 40k, which is insane. Thank you so much, everyone.
On the grand scale, because we are going to be tackling the massive,
skip the intro, you shouldn't have.
Breaking down the literal world of One Piece. And this is far from an easy thing to delve into because one of the
how do we know One Piece is even real?
Is its overwhelming mystery and the kind of endlessly expanding landscape before our eyes. However, after 2 decades of the series, we do have a very functioning idea
more
of
than
how
2
this world
decades
is structured. And first and foremost, I will begin with the fact that One Piece is indeed set on a planet that is overwhelmingly dominated by water, much more so than our home of Earth. Or at least I'm assuming that's where most people are watching this video from. If not, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, for the sake of ease of explanation, we are now going to
there's multiple theories that I'm from
smush this planet in order to begin building it. So the overwhelming majority of the series takes place within one particular stretch of water known as the Grand Line, which circumnavigates the globe. So I suppose just imagine
how big is the planet
or something. This area of the world is extraordinarily volatile, dangerous, and highly unpredictable in terms of weather, thus providing a fantastic location for an exciting
like an ex-girlfriend
manga. And at the same time, the Grand Line is populated with potentially hundreds of islands of varying shapes and sizes, some of which could be the area of a small deserted island, whilst others can be the scale of gigantic countries. But in keeping with the fickle weather of the Grand Line, the climate of these islands can vary rapidly, even for relatively neighboring
ocean currents.
And these climates can be broadly classified into 4 types, being summer, autumn, winter, and spring. With some of your classic examples, including Alabasta as a summer nation, Drum Island as a winter wonderland, and Dressrosa as your spring paradise. However, autumn islands tend to be exceedingly rare in this series, so much so that we haven't actually labeled anything as an official autumn island as of yet, although it is fairly widely speculated that Wano would be an autumn island, given that its heartland is permanently draped in falling sakura leaves. Wano does bring up the first exceptions to the climate classification though, because it happens to be an island that boasts multiple extreme climates, and if you
ooh face down there,
the capital and venture into Seiringo, then you would find yourself in the depths of a winter island. And then there are also places like Punk Hazard, which have had their climates artificially created via a serious battle between Logia Devil Fruit users, as well as currently unexplained aberrations like Rising Island, which has been potentially struck by lightning. So there is no really solid classification system at play in this world, and each island will still present its own unique challenges. However, the Grand Line does not exist in isolation, and in order for this stretch of
snow
to
next
be
to sand
differentiated from the rest of the world, it is deliciously sandwiched on both sides by 2 thinner stretches of water known as the calm belts. And obviously these lengths of water
is that where the giant
navigate the globe, but as opposed to
monsters
the Grand Line, the weather in this section is, as the name would imply, perfectly calm. Beyond calm, actually. I'd say non-existent, really, because somehow in these sections of the world there are no winds or sea currents, and everything is pretty perfectly still.
Wait, there's no winds?
Incredibly difficult to sail across and actually access the Grand Line, or leave the Grand Line should one so desire. That's far from the most major difficulty of the Calm Belt, though, because it is also the designated breeding area for Sea Kings, which are the absurdly massive creatures that can be found all over the planet. However, they are highly concentrated
What do they
in the
eat?
Calm Belt, meaning that
Can you
should
blame
sail
them?
into it, your chances of being destroyed or eaten by one are extremely
Accidentally.
high. That is, of course, unless you are an absolute boss, of which this series does have a fair few. One of which I'd like to point out being Silver's Ray Lee, the first mate of the former Pirate King, who is able to casually swim
he was a
across
Pirate
the
King?
Calm Belt without any fear of Sea Kings whatsoever. Also, in more modern times, the Marines have developed a method by which to cross the Calm Belt, which involves lining the bottom of their vessels with sea stone, which I suppose apparently repels the Sea Kings as if they were Zubats in a rock tunnel. In actuality, though, the sea stone just
Pokemon
enhances
reference.
the appearance of the ships and renders them, for all intents and purposes, invisible to the senses of Sea Kings. Now, we have one more
So the Sea Kings aren't friendly.
because while the world of One Piece is predominantly composed of islands, it does have one crowning continent, which goes smack bang here, known as the Red Line. And it is a particularly long continent by anyone's standards.
What?
And just
Wait,
as with the
a
Grand
long
Line and
continent? That's a
Belt,
long boy.
It also circumnavigates the globe, just along a different axis. And I suppose you could say that the Red Line functions as something of a gigantic wall, because it extends 10,000 meters below sea level right down to the sea floor, and while its exact height is still unknown, it is certainly tall enough to be considered impassable. Which isn't
Does
to say
anybody
it's
live there?
impossible to do so,
Slugs.
because the German Kingdom, for example, have developed a technologically savvy way of climbing the Red Line with their ships, and we have also had at least one example of an
slugs.
individual who has painstakingly climbed up the Red Line, being Fisher Tiger. And he did so in order to get to the one settlement on this tall continent, being the Holy Land of Marijois, which is where the world nobles reside and rule over the riff-raff masses from afar. But the existence of the Red Line also has the effect of creating four distinct bodies of water in the world, which
and also that
as
disrupts the ocean current
having
like
been
crazy.
divided into north, south, east, and west blue respectively. And these probably represent what we would consider average chunks of water that
it's a
operate
globe.
very much akin to our real world. There is nothing particularly special
Oh, wait,
or
so it goes all the way
volatile about
around.
them, except I suppose you may encounter a Sea King on the odd occasion, but otherwise these blues are all quite peaceful and reasonable areas of the planet. The one that we are by far the most familiar with in the series being East Blue, which is where we commenced our journey with one Monkey D. Luffy in the Goa Kingdom specifically. And it is also the home of iconic locations such as Shellstown, where we found Zoro, Syrup Village, where we recruited Usopp, the floating restaurant of Baratier, where we found
almost
El
25
Chef
years
Ryan
into the
on
show,
Kokoyashi
and we spent
Village,
most of it
as
in
well
just
as
one of
Logtown,
the
where
4
Goldie Roger
blues.
was executed, and many, many more. As for the other blues, we know very little about them at this
Who was
late
executed?
stage, other than some scattered kingdoms and random fun facts about who was originally from where. Like, for example, Nolan and the Louvneil Kingdom were located in North Blue, whilst Port Gastiace was born in South Blue, and O'Hara, Robin's home island, was located in West Blue, prior to it
That
being
sounds too much like
completely and
Ohio.
utterly destroyed, that is. So they certainly contain great importance to the world and the series at large. However, what tends to happen is that prominent figures migrate from these blues and make names for themselves within the Grand Line. That's problematic though, because with the map as
you
it
could
is
get to
now,
the Grand
there
Line.
is no way to access the Grand Line, or any of the other 4 blues actually. For example, if I was to migrate from East Blue, I would either be met with the Calm Belt or the Red Line on all fronts, making any form of progress impossible. Before we get to how to overcome this problem though, it's actually very important to completely reshape this map for a second. Now previously I stated that the Red Line also circumnavigates the globe, which is accurate and wonderful. However, it makes the map we are viewing incredibly inaccurate. To account for the fact that the One Piece world
goes all the way
this
across.
is a bit trippy, but the flattened map ends up looking a little something like this. Which, just to avoid any potential confusion, because I know it will come up, this does not mean there are
that
2
makes
red
sense.
lines.
No.
It is still one continent, and when scrunched
On the other
into one
side.
ball, this map will become a flawlessly connected globe. Great! With that out of the way, it's now time to point out that the Grand Line is
That's
not
exactly what I
a
was like, where does
stretch of
East Blue and
water,
North Blue
due to the
meet?
Red Line, it is separated into 2 distinct areas, one of which is referred to as Paradise, whilst the other is labeled as the New World. And the reasoning for these names is that, despite how incredibly deadly and unpredictable the Grand Line is in general, the first segment is absolutely nothing compared to that of the second, hence it being known as Paradise by all those who have experienced the truly apocalyptic conditions of the New World. And the New World is also very notably the only area of this planet that is not currently under the direct rule of the world government. Instead, it acts
Imagine being bad, but
as
not as bad, and they're called
primarily
Paradise.
under the command of the 4 emperors, who are known as the most influential pirates in this world. But back to how we actually access any of these locations, this is where we introduce the concept of Reverse Mountain, which is a super tall point of the Red Line, in which all
that was the
blues
breakup
meet,
in it, I
and
think.
from which they may enter the Grand Line through the various scattered paths shown here. However, once entering the mountain, you have but one choice, which is to be ejected into the Paradise section of the Grand Line. At which point we encounter another problem, because even if
So how do you
make
get to the
your
New
way
World?
around to the end point of Paradise, you encounter the Red Line again, blocking your path into the New World. And unfortunately,
Yeah,
getting into the
there's
new
no
world
other
is
one.
nowhere near as easy as Reverse Mountain, which actually wasn't very easy to begin with, but you basically
Yeah.
have two options. You either need to somehow get over the red line, or you need
That's
to
not-
go under it. Because there is
Well,
a
there was a
segment
slight
of
thing.
passage available, a sort of tunnel through the continent, if you will, which will take one past Fishman Island. But this
A
is
tunnel to a
important,
whole
actually,
continent?
because now we need to discuss the One Piece world through a different lens, which is height and depth. Up until now, we've mostly been considering things from sea level, which in this case is referred to as the Blue Sea. But the world of
Okay.
One Piece extends far below and far above this concept. First,
Oh, yeah, I'm
making
sure.
our way down, once we reach 7,000 meters below sea level, we hit an area known as the
7,000?
underworld of the sea, which is a position
Okay.
so deep that no light from the surface
Oh.
can penetrate it. So it's very spooky, dark, and full of all sorts of terrifying.
The
sea
ocean's
life.
way
But
deeper
then
than
we
you
can
think
go
it is.
even
That's a good
further
YouTube
down,
video.
And at 10,000 meters, we hit the sea floor, which is actually known
But
to
there's gotta be
possess
certain
quite
points
an
that are
array of
deeper.
civilized life, including the aforementioned Fishman Island, and in an incredible natural phenomenon, light
How do you even get
does
to Fishman
indeed
Island?
reach this area of the world via the roots of the Sunlight Tree Eve, which allows everyone and everything to prosper. But then we can also go in the opposite direction as well and make our way up, and once we've reached 7,000 meters above sea level, we hit the White Sea, which is heavily populated by island clouds, which are allegedly created by a
Island
particular
clouds?
element that composes sea stone called pyrobloin, which is a fictional element ejected into the air
Obviously.
by volcanic eruptions, and then it binds with water vapor to create clouds of various levels of solidity. Some of them could
Is
be
that their
sturdy
ship?
enough to walk,
It looks
for
like.
example, whilst
Is that how
others
they
could
fly?
mimic the properties
Why
of
they fly?
water and allow vessels to sail upon them. However, most of the more solid clouds are found once we reach the height of 10,000 meters, which is known as the
What?
White Sea, which
Bro,
is another
what?
layer of sea clouds that includes prominent sky islands like Skypiea, for example, as well as
Sky
Skypiea
Islands?
Island, which
Huh?
is set up there by the Knockup Stream. Which, speaking of, the Knockup Stream is thus far the only way that we have been shown capable of reaching the White Sea levels, which is an absurdly dangerous practice and not at all recommended, because apparently there are other much safer ways of traveling to this area, although none of them have been revealed to us at the time
Oh,
of
an
this
elevator?
recording. But with that, we have the very basics of the One Piece world, and I would like to emphasize that this is not an exhaustive examination. Every new arc in
That's
the series
nuts.
tends to present us with new and conflicting information regarding the composition of this realm. And even with everything
How did
we do
Oda
know,
even
there
come
is
up with
still an
this?
incredible amount of remaining mysteries, the most prominent of which being where is the hidden island of Laugh Tale, the discovery of which theoretically leads someone to the One Piece and putting them on the path of becoming the next pirate.
Oh, so
king.
looking
And
for
there's
a
also the
specific
entire
island?
realm of outer space, which I have decided not to touch on in this video. The rest
Is there
life
actually
definitely
space?
exists out there as well. So there is an awful lot left to unpack, but I hope that this has provided you with some sort of solid grounding.
It
But what do you
definitely
guys think?
did.
Please do leave your thoughts in the comments below, or even join my
Huh,
Discord server.
that was a good
If you're
video.
down for some more videos like this, and please do go and check out some
Dude,
of my other content, or even subscribe.
they've
to the
spent
channel for
almost
more glorious
25
One Piece
years
business,
in
including
one
straight
of
into your
4
YouTube feeds.
blues.
But for now, this has been the Grand Line Review.
Holy
and I'll
crap.
see you next time.
Oh, should I do other videos by him? I literally am going to watch next week's video based on your comment suggestions down below. And also, if you see one you agree with, definitely like it. That helps me know. I read every single comment, so leave some down below, and I reply to a lot as well. That's... Huh. That makes... The fact that there's like a continent that's super high up in the air. Why is that one continent so high up in the air? And the fact that it completely wraps around everything, goes all the way down to the seafloor. That's nuts. And there's sky islands and undersea islands and sea kings and areas where there's no wind? Huh? One Piece is insane. Every time I watch one of these videos, I'm just like, I want to watch more. It's so good. It's just like, just the detail. I love just the little details that go into it. And just Oda, one person, wrote all of this. It still blows my mind that they've spent the entire, or most of the time, just in East Blue. East Blue, that's what it's called. Wow. Well, I'm looking forward to the next video I'm going to watch. You all get to just pick and decide down below, as long as it's not like actual One Piece itself, because that'll be on a separate channel, and that would be more than I'm capable of taking on at the moment. I would literally have to hire somebody to do that, and I financially cannot do that, because YouTube's copyright system is terrible. That's why I have a Patreon. Someone did throw out the idea of me having like a Patreon just for One Piece. And that way they could, like, you know, I'd be able to have like an editor or something, just have somebody, you know, help me with that. Because I'm uploading like 16, 17 videos a week, running 4 channels now, and I'm live streaming 4 times a week, and I record, edit, render, make every single thumbnail, read every single comment for all those videos. So it's a lot. I do a lot. So that's why it's really hard for me to do One Piece like as a show right now. But in the future, It's so tempting. Every time I watch one of these, I'm just like, I should just do it. I really should. But thank you all so much for the support you show in these videos. I look forward to watching more of them in the near future, and I hope to see you there. But until then, take care and cue the music.